She's like, So put your computers away and just, really stay focused on trying to grow personally, professionally in this moment. All right.
Am I up?
Yeah, you're up. Take it away. Let's cookie test.
Yes, you're actually right after this slide.
Oh, yeah.
So you're just going to click through with the little clicker. The forward arrow is.
Thank you.
And I'm going to try not to
Backwards,
trip
back.
over here
Oh, yeah,
on this
sorry,
carpet.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The good news is I'm not here to sell you anything. And as a matter of fact, I brought cookies for y'all. I don't know, they're kind of holding hostage. But I am going to try to sell you on yourself and how being true to yourself and authentically you is going to be your greatest business advantage. And it may already be. So, ta-da. And I'm going to start with how being true to myself led me to launching a business and how running that business has taught me that authenticity is my greatest asset. What is authenticity? Identity is who you are when nobody's looking. And authenticity is being true to that identity. And you hear me get a little nervous right now, but and I do want to say too, I have not been day drinking. I have a slight lisp, so I didn't start my morning with mimosas. So for those of you who don't know, what is Cookie Text anyway? I started Cookie Text in 2012, or 2011. We make cookie cakes. We put text messages on them. We hand deliver them. People can order online. It's a pretty great way to connect people and to be kind to other people. We do quite a bit of business to business stuff. We do a good bit for Carlin. I joke that it's not really that she likes my cookies. It's that she's paying a lifelong debt that her mother introduced me to my former husband.
I literally wasn't born. It was not my fault.
You were born.
Oh, okay.
No, and I'm kidding. He's a great dad. Okay, so what about Cookie Text? Makes me proud. We have happy customers. We have really loyal team members. We have quality products. We have an excellent reputation. We're very supportive of our community, and we've been doing it for 12 years. And that makes me very proud because I've watched a lot of places come and go. So I'm going to start with telling you more about me than you probably ever want to know, because I think the key to authenticity is figuring out who are you, because how can you be true to yourself if you have no freaking clue? So let's begin at the beginning. This is my family. I was the youngest of 11, and that's how pictures looked back then. This is the only picture I know of that has all of us minus a brother that had passed away. And I'm that really young girl over there that's kind of crooked. And then my brother is even in this bottom spot. So youngest of 11, there was a lot going on. How do you get the attention you need when you're in that big of a group? And so things didn't start out so great. I was the youngest of 11. Mom died when I was 9. Dad when I was 18. Stepmom, when Dad died, was like, see ya, I'm out. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. And so my whole start was a start of survival. Like, I just gotta, I was kind of, I know it's hard to believe, I was a little bit smart, and was all the kids in my peer group were going to college. And so I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, is go to college. And so I hustled, and I worked, and I went to college. And Lee might remember the Heartbreak. Down at the Heartbreak.
Yeah.
We're all
Why am I the only one in this room that remembers the Heartbreak?
I know what the Heartbreak is.
So yeah, I was either waitressing or bartending or doing something, working in a fish market somewhere. Then I figured out, I got through ODU. I ended up getting my master's degree in occupational therapy up at MCV in Richmond. And I started a job at Riverside Rehab, working in stroke and brain injury rehab. And so hustle. And as all those people do that have no real clue who they are because they've never slowed down to figure it out, I got married. And then quickly had 3 boys. And those are my boys. That's Andrew, Eddie, and Jimmy. And I like that I put the Blue's Clues on there because that was my first real clue about who I really was. Because all of a sudden, my very most important thing in my life was being a good mother and raising good humans. And as I raised good humans, I pretty much did every volunteer role that you could ever do, from scout leader to leading children's liturgy. I hosted a residential soccer camp at my home 3 summers in a row, where all the kids would move into my house and the training lessons would take plays in a park. And the funny thing is, these parents trusted me enough to spend the money, and I mean, all the money went to the coach that we hired, and I had also started making cakes. I was doing that for my kids and for friends, and I basically realized a few things about myself. And then when it came time to go to work again, because my youngest had gone back to school, I thought, well, I guess I'll go back to OT. And I went over to interview at, Warwick Forest. And I could smell the smells and see the people, and I went running to my car, and I was like, this is not who I am anymore. Because while I was doing all that stuff with the boys and becoming involved in what they did, I realized all these things about myself that I wasn't able to discover when I was younger, because I was just doing that hustle and work thing. And it went from survival to discovery. And I realized that I'm a good problem solver, and that I'm kind of a natural leader. I'm kind of clever. I saw the other day a Facebook memory came up where I had put all my kids' Halloween candy in the middle of the table and given them all toothpicks. And I said, whoever builds the best structure wins. And it was my MO to get rid of the Halloween candy. And it worked. So, I really value connection. I very, very much like people, and I like people to know that I think that they matter and they are of value. I'm results driven. I would never make it at a job where I had to work on getting a rocket into space 6 years from now. And that's the joy of Cookie Text, is I can get your order last night and it's already been delivered today. So that's a key for me being able to, I need some results. I can't be waiting around. I'm capable, I'm efficient. And so I came up with my own personal mission statement, and that took a while, and I definitely kind of stole it from things I heard. So, to live my life with an open heart, a totally sharp mind, and a great and vast willingness to be a benefit to others. And so that's what I tried to do when I was trying to figure out what do I do. And so I thought, I'll try this cookie cake thing, because I've been making cakes for other people. I got a lot of joy from giving people cakes, but it was not scalable or measurable in any sense. And so if I did Cookie Text and we just kind of delivered cookie grams, then that's something I could do in the morning, get the kids off to school, and then go do the deliveries. So it still allowed me to be present for my sons. It allowed me to generate income. I was able to be creative and clever and facilitate connection. And best part of my job is all I do is help people be nice to each other. It's just pretty great, and it fits with who I am and what I think my personal goals are. But it stacked up to a lot more than that. It taught my sons compassion and kindness, which I never expected it to do. It's given me countless opportunities to be a benefit to others. Carlin sent me a video the other day of a cake I made for Wyatt that I had zero recollection of. And I said, it's a good thing people caught me being nice to people and not being bad. And then it provided me with so many opportunities like this. I mean, you asked me who broke out in hives when I had to give a presentation in college because I was so worried about my list. And now I'm on Hampton Roadshow list. Somebody canceled tomorrow, come on over. And I can handle myself on TV and do that kind of stuff, which is shocking to me, but it's lovely. One of my best stories about my sons and how the business shaped up to be something more than I ever expected it to be. I don't know how many of you have middle schoolers, or we've all been a middle schooler, or how middle school is rough. It is rough, and the whole guy-girl thing is rough. Eddie came home from middle school when I was working in the cookie kitchen, and he said, Mom, he had a little friend named Tally. Did you hear that Tally's dog died? And I was like, no, Eddie, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. And he's like, yeah. And he hesitated for a minute. He goes, do you think we could send her a cookie text? And I thought that this middle school kid has the knowledge that there are things that happen to people that you need to really show them that you care and that you matter. And I have several stories like that from my kids that have just meant the world to me. And that, a 12-year-old boy is comfortable enough showing somebody he cares. It's like, okay, that's a win. Living authentically as a business asset. It requires honesty. It breeds trust, instills confidence, creates faith, proves reliability, and fuels hope. But it's all based on honesty. And the most important person to be honest with is yourself. Are you doing the best at your job? Are you trying to be the best version of yourself? Do you believe in what you're representing? You gotta work in alignment with yourself. And do you tell the truth to your clients and your customers and your coworkers? And if you mess up, do you fess up? Because it's an awful feeling to be wrong or to mess up. But hiding or lying about it just makes it worse and turns it into a fit of shame. I had an incident last year where I messed up so big with a realtor that it was just, and I have to tell you, many times I thought, do I lie? Do I die? I'd rather lie than have to tell her the truth. And I thought, I can't be going to schools and tell people if you mess up, fess up, and then not fess up. And so I did. I fessed up, and she showed me great grace. And now when I think of the incident, I think, oh, I really regret that it happened, but I'm not ashamed that it happened. And I can face that person and I can move along.
I swear, I've been trying to mute him for 5 minutes. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. Because I have a spoiler. And I don't know if you'll know this, so be very quiet. People know when you're lying. So you think they don't, but they really do. So being honest with yourself, a lot of that is about what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad. And we're not talking about instant gratification, like I'm just gonna down this shot and then I feel great, and then tomorrow when you've accidentally downed 15 more, that you go, really, I feel like crap. And so, is it, what makes you feel bad? Is it road rage, yelling at your kids, running late all the time, eating crappy food, drinking too much, anything that you're not proud of? And I wish it was this easy. You stop doing the things that make you feel bad. There are no new problems. And so if you're doing any of those other things that don't make you feel good about yourself, there's somebody around that's been through it and can help you out. So either use your support system, talk to somebody. I mean, I had a period of my life where I was just an angry girl, but I'm not an angry person by disposition. And so I had to go get help and figure out, how do I not be an angry person anymore? And then you gotta do more of what makes you feel good. In 9th grade, so I have the kind of a very, very temperamental dad. I have the mom that passed away. I feel kind of lost. And I'm in science class, and I'm doing a project, a lab, with my friends Connie, Tim, and Dave. And we're all messing around and kind of joking as we're doing it, but we're getting the work done. And we're finishing up, we're cleaning all the stuff up, and my friend Connie says, "That was fun." And I remember that moment to this day, that I had not named fun before. And learning to name fun and name joy is the best insight into yourself that you can get. When you can notice something that makes you feel good and happy, that's the gift that my friend Connie gave me, is to start naming all those things. And if you're not noticing joy, then start with gratitude. It's get out of bed every day. I try not to get out of bed without naming at least 3 things I'm grateful for. And it can be as simple as, my lights work, or, the neighbor said hi to me type thing. It doesn't have to be big. Don't wait around for the big things. So what gets in the way of being authentic? People pleasing, comparison. If I compared myself to some of the people in the room, I would feel like I am doing a terrible job at life. But I am nobody else in this room but myself. And so I have to live up to my own standards, and I cannot compete with others at trying to do the best and be the most. Fear of being judged by others is huge. Fear of failure, trying to be perfect. If I tried to be perfect at crocheting, I wouldn't crochet. But I want to crochet. I enjoy it. But I'm not going to be good at it ever. I can make a little hat, and I can make a scarf. And if I said, well, I'm not making all the stuff I see on Instagram that people are doing with the multiple colors and this isn't it, and I quit, then that's not being true to myself. I'm just going to be content that I can crochet to the level that I can crochet, and I enjoy it when I'm doing it. Following the crowd, which is always a hard thing, to not just try to do everything that everybody else is doing. I will say that I never fell in love with Duran Duran, and I also didn't collect Beanie Babies. My biggest barriers to authenticity are having a villain in my story. And so if I'm blaming somebody else for my problems, then I'm giving them agency over my life. Much better for me to realize that they're either doing the best they can or they're limited. Because I don't want anybody else to be in control of my life. So if I'm trying to make somebody the bad guy in my story, then I need to fix that. Because there are gonna be people that, aren't great, but don't let them be the villain in your story. And don't have a villain in your story. Put them in some place in your head that you either, if you have to keep getting along with them, figure it out, don't let them affect your life, do that kind of work. But as soon as you have the bad guy in your life, or the bad girl, or the horrible person in your life, you're giving over agency in your life to that person. My other biggest barrier is not trusting my own opinion. When I feel something about somebody, I tend to want to get a consensus. And so if somebody's unkind to me, I want to go tell Aisha, hey, don't you agree that was terrible? And have this whole...
Maybe you should talk to her.
Yeah, and so it's taken me a long time to trust my own opinion. But when I'm trying to get that consensus, what am I telling myself? That I don't believe in me? I believe in me. And if somebody was not kind or did something wrong to me, then my opinion is enough. And so I don't need to get the consensus. But that's one I still work on often, because it's a lot nicer sometimes to have somebody validate your feelings. But for me, it's always more than that. It's more than me trying to say, will you tell me I'm okay? And I have to have the confidence that how I feel is how I feel, and that's valid. So you gotta ask yourself, when you're trying to figure out who you are and what's authentic to you, what's important to you? And if you figure out what you value and work in alignment with that, and you have honesty about that, you do those other things. You breed trust, you instill confidence, you create faith, and you prove reliability. And so when you instill trust, you are showing your clients and your coworkers that you are good and honest, and they believe in that. You create faith, your clients and coworkers believe that you make good decisions on their behalf and that your intentions are sincere. You instill confidence, your clients and coworkers' belief in you and your business, it translates to repeats and referrals. And if you show you're reliable, your clients and coworkers know what to expect from you based on your pattern of behavior. And all that starts with the honesty. And of course, we gotta have an Oprah Winfrey quote. I am the Oprah generation. I had no idea that being your authentic self could make me as rich as I've become. If I had, I'd have done it a lot earlier. Things that have helped me, or being authentic in Cookie Text has helped me, because all of my first customers were people that bet on me because of what I did in the past, either when I was leading chess club or scouts or something, that I did what I said I was gonna do, and they could rely on me, and they trusted that I was gonna take care of their kid when I took them 50 miles to a scout camp. And so those people became my first customers because I had a track record of doing what I said I was gonna do. So they were then willing to gamble $25 on a cookie that Jeanne Fiocca says that she's gonna make and deliver. Some of the customers that are most invested in my brand are ones that I screwed up with, and then I had to double back and make it right. And those are the people that, I don't think people expect perfection, but they want you to validate what went wrong, take ownership of it, and do your best to correct it. And when I've done that, that's become my best client. Those are people that will go to bat for me by hook or by crook. And the other thing about being authentic, about the priority that my kids took over Cookie Text, is that translated over to the team members that worked with me. And so I didn't expect them to put cookie text above their families because I wasn't putting cookie text above my family. I don't think it deserves to be. And so that has paid off tenfold, because when somebody says, hey, my kid is sick or my whatever is, I'm like, it's cookies. It's family before cookies. I mean, this isn't court orders. And I value my company and its reputation and getting things out as I've promised. However, I can work around you needing to do something with your family, because that's most important. And by the same token, those people will drop whatever they're doing to help me when I need it, because of the respect that I've shown them for their value system. And there are benefits of living and working authentically. The greatest of these for me is consistency of self. That I can be the same person when I'm talking to y'all right here as I am when I go greet the guy at the Speedway who gives me my soda, as I am when I go running with friends. I'm the same person all the time. That's not saying that I don't have moods, but people can deal with moods. They can't deal with if you're one gal for your bunko babes and you're somebody else when you're in the office. That consistency of self is an absolute blessing. And it proved it to me. I had one of my top 10 days of my life. The second from left is my friend Jody, and we worked in a fish market. I did my first 2 years of college up in SUNY Oswego, way up in New York. And she came to visit me, and I said, well, let's do a day with other friends. And so Laura on the end there is a running friend that I met through scouting. Then there's Jody from the fish market. Melissa and I met in Lamaze class. And on the end, my friend Angie and I met because we had kids the same age. None of these people met each other before. And we all got together and we went to the beach, and then we went on a dolphin cruise. And if you ask any of the 5 of us, we'd all say it was one of the best days ever. Everybody got along because everybody got along with me, and I was the same person with all of them. I gave a version of this talk this summer and woke up, and I was super nervous about it. And I woke up that morning and number nine was in my head, and I was like, well, what the heck is the significance of number 9? And I was thinking, well, the 9 fruits of the Spirit, and I had 9 this, 9 that, and I was on the phone with my brother, and he said, well, you know what the 9th commandment is, right? And I'm like, well, I probably don't know in order. And he said, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Don't lie. And it's all the foundation of authenticity is being honest, and being honest with others, and being honest with yourself. And in true honesty, we will close with my favorite thing ever. And in all honesty, there they are! And those are my boys. That's Andrew on the left, Eddie, and Jimmy. And that's their mama. And if all I've ever done in life is to raise good, kind sons, then I win. But the cookies are gravy on top. So thank you for your time. Any questions?
We say all the time in our business, it's know, like, and trust. And that all ties into what you're saying. People know if you are a part of another group and you're not doing what you say you're gonna do, they're not gonna trust you to handle their real estate transaction. Would you say that, I kept thinking in my head like vulnerability, but not just like vulnerability with other people, it's vulnerability with yourself to really dig into like who you are and like what phase, because it's hard, especially having young kids. It's like you go into like certain phases of your life, and how do you transition between those phases but somehow remain the same person?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is asking that constant question, am I being the best version of myself? And because sometimes you hit roadblocks, and you have to be honest that I at times I absolutely was not. And what do I have to do to fix that?
Get
To
back to
be
that.
the best version of myself. And my kids have watched me grow and change over the years, but they know who I am at my core.
Right. Questions? Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, well, good job. We love you. Thank you so much. She brought us amazing cookie text over there. If you have not used cookie text previously, she can do just about anything. And she's right. You could literally send her a note and say, hey, a girl on my softball team broke her arm. Think of something cute and clever to say to her in a cookie text, and she can do that.
Just
She can come up with a
ChatGPT
lot
with
of-
icing.
Yeah, she can come up with the words to put on the text anytime. So thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I guess let's
go back to kind of what we were talking about before because Bubba did finally show up. So yay, Bubba's here. He was one of the winners. The winners, I guess. He got the award, the $1 Million Month award. So Lee and Dana were both on the list as well. So congratulations. Okay, Carlin, you want to talk about what you're doing next?
Yes.
Does everybody have the your property listing tour? Who is all going on the property tour? Raise your hand.
I got some changes.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Okay, so if